Okay, so when we're dividing fractions by a whole number or dividing a whole number by a fraction, it's very like dividing fractions themselves, fractions by fractions. You've just got to do that little flipping over thing. And it's also a bit like multiplying fractions by a whole number in that you've got to turn the whole number into a fraction, which is very easy. It works like this. If you've got 3/4 divided by 7 in this case, then the 3/4 is already a fraction, and you need to turn that 7 into a fraction as well. And 7 as a fraction is 7 over 1. 7 ones, 7 wholes is the same as 7. So that just turns it into a fraction. Just like you were with multiplication, when you multiply by a whole number, you just turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1. Okay, and then just like dividing fraction by fraction, you have to flip the second fraction over. So the first one stays as 3/4. Then you turn the divide into a multiply, and you flip the second fraction around. So you put the 1 on the top and the 7 underneath. And now you've got a fraction that you can multiply, and it's just like multiplying fractions, which is very straightforward. You multiply the top numbers together. 3 times 1 is 3. Multiply the bottom numbers, the denominators together. 4 times 7 is 28, and that's your answer. If you can simplify it, you simplify it. In this case, there's no times table that has got 3 and 28 as a multiple, so that's as simple as it gets. So our answer to 3/4 of 7 is 3/28. Okay, one more example, just in case you see it the other way around. It's exactly the same process. This case we'll have 6 divided by a half. Okay, so if we're going to do a whole number divided by a fraction, we need to turn that whole number into a fraction as well. So 6 is the same as 6 wholes, or 6 ones, divided by a half. And then we have to think to ourselves, how do we do division of fractions? Well, we flip the second one around and do multiplication of fractions. So we flip the second one around, and then we do 6 ones times 2 over 1. And that's just 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer is 12 ones, and 12 ones is 12 wholes. 12 wholes of anything is just 12. Okay? So there's 2 examples there of how we do division by whole numbers. In both cases, it's just like division by fractions. We have to flip the second fraction around and multiply it. But before we can do that, we've just got to put it over 1. Very straightforward. Watch the video again if you're not too sure.